Welcome. My guest today is Verna Chisman, and she's the president of Allure Wellness Management Services. Verna has a broad depth of experience in life plan communities on both a local and a national level. She's the author of multiple industry publications, and she's a presenter for the International Council on Active Aging, Life Care Services, national conferences and symposiums, as well as many other events um, around the country. Verna is a colleague and a friend of mine, and on today's interview, we really explore wellness and technology and creating that environment of wellness for older adults. I hope you enjoy. Well, hi, Verna. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you today? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. I'm doing very well, thanks. Thanks for being here with me today. And I'm looking forward to talking about wellness and about older adults specifically and their kind of wellness needs. But before we really get into this, I wanted to ask you about why you have such a passion for wellness and for older adults, and a little bit about your experience in the field.
It was not my intentional career path to go into the senior living industry. However, once I was asked to really basically fill in at a community, I immediately knew that this was where my heart belonged and this is where my passion was, and the rest of my career would be taking off, giving my whole dedication to older adults. I thoroughly gain more joy and more reward than what they do and what I do in return. But I am so grateful to have this opportunity and the privilege of working with the older adults. And I quickly learned that my passion was in their overall well-being, their wellness. Many years ago when I started in my career, we really didn't speak of the word wellness as it generated over the years. But it is all about the engagement and their overall well-being and their health, as well as every other dimension of aspect into one's day-to-day living.
Oh, I love that. You kind of fell into wellness and older adults, right? Working with older
Exactly,
adults.
exactly. Yes,
Um,
yes,
and you work a lot with continuing care communities, right?
that's correct. Yes,
So older adults in different levels in continuing care and different levels of care, all the way from independent living down to assisted and memory care as well.
absolutely.
Um, so what do you enjoy most about what you do? And as you
Mm,
consult on wellness with communities, what do you enjoy the most?
that's a tough question. I would say engaging with the residents and with the older adults. I have just as much fun as they do. And having the chance to take part in their lives and then welcoming me into their homes and into their lives and sharing that joy is probably the best part of any job.
You know, I agree. I have worked in continuing care and the connections and that you make there and the connections that you can facilitate between
Right.
individuals that you're working with. I
You
think that's,
definitely build the friendship, but they become part of your family. And that is so, to me, that is an honor. And like I said, a privilege to be accepted in that manner. They trust you, they have confidence in you, and knowing that you can really make a difference in their life is what it's all about.
I agree. I agree 100%.
Yes.
Now, we're going through some different times in regard to wellness, and really everybody that I know and everybody around the world, where we are presented with some challenges right now. What do you think, taking into account what's going on in our current environment, what does that reveal to you when, in regard to older adults and their well-being, and how to facilitate a greater well-being in older adults and in communities as well?
Right. Well, as I look back over, look in the rearview mirror over the past few months, it has really become very evident to me that it is now more important than ever to take ownership of our well-being, to take the responsibility of taking
Right.
care of ourselves. There is no one more important than you. And having the support by either staff members or family members, loved ones, friends, to really enhance your day to day is what it's going to take. So, having the ability to make the best of it, which is what we're all trying to do. We're in this all together, knowing that you have this
Right.
whole broader community as well as your whole family that are in the same situation. So we are all in this together, and that we have to really support each other and take the responsibility for our day-to-day lives as well as for what brings us joy. And I think that's a message that I would like to relay to all the older adults. Really focus on what brings you joy each day. Take time out to pamper yourself. We all need that. We all deserve that. You are in your best years of your life, and finding ways to still enhance that and take advantage of everything that you had hoped for, it's still possible. It's just going to be in a different manner, but really take that responsibility and take the initiative to make the best of each day is what we're really trying to do. And the important key factor here is the connections. We all have to have those social connections. We depend on that. Our whole bodies thrive on that.
Right.
It gives us purpose each day, having those connections and knowing that we have people out there that love us as much as we love them, and we want to be able to contribute to them.
So how do we do that? How do we facilitate connections with older adults in our lives as well, right? But especially in
Exactly.
those of older adults, how do we facilitate connection and how do they stay connected? And are they staying connected?
Mhm. I think at first there was hesitancy because it was all such an uncertain territory, uncharted territory for everyone. So we had to learn how to navigate through that. The positive aspect is the technology. We have had to jump forward 15, 20 years very rapidly
Right.
and embrace that technology is our way of connection. We're all in agreement that you can never replace an actual hug. That touch and feel is something that we all really thrive on and really need. But for the interim, again, this is a way we make the best of it. There's a will, there's a way. It's an old saying, but it's a very true saying that, we will go ahead and find a way to overcome this. And through technology, that has given us that outlet. It's either through FaceTime. I mean, the smart technology of just telling Alexa or whatever platform that you're using to contact your family member or your friend, or to bring up on the screen something that you've been wanting to see. There are so many different possibilities that they have made it more convenient and I guess more user friendly for older adults, so that we have that capability.
And part of learning the new technology, right, is
Yeah,
learning these new skills. It's actually helping our brain function and our brains to grow as we learn these new processes. I know
absolutely. Absolutely.
there's a big impact when you consider social isolation and chronic disease. Those who are lonely and feel socially isolated have higher risk factors for chronic disease. But how can we mitigate that? How can we provide that connection, that technology? How do we get that out and have older adults really take part? Are they doing it? Are they taking part?
They are, they're resilient. I mean, I think that's something that has really stood out through all of this, is how resilient our older adults are. They have been through many tribulations over their years, many that we could never even imagine, I'm sure. And yet they have come out ahead. So they have the strength and the ability to overcome this as well, and they are.
I agree.
They are not as intimidated with the technology because they realize this is their only way to have that connection. The negativity, as you mentioned, the loneliness and the stress, anxiety, which causes the depression, the isolation. they again have this ability to overcome that and find a way to take that negative and turn it into a positive. We can, you know, still have some, I guess in smaller communities, they're offering some ability to have small groups together, 4
Okay.
to 10, and still have the social isolation, you know, they're distancing, but yet they're still in the same room together in the same area. So they're not feeling so vulnerable and so alone. But you can also do that virtually. I know that's not quite the same, but you
Yes.
can have that space all together. The networking and that ability to build relationships is still there, and it is still very vital. It does really help with our brain growth. You know, we need to have the growth of our brain in order to keep it functioning and keep it connected. It has connectivity, the neuroplasticity.
Right.
It has to have that connectivity. So when we push ourselves to grow in a different area and learn a new skill set, you are utilizing aspects of your brain that's going to keep it thriving, and that's what we all need. So that's a positive from this in every regard, is to learn those new social skills as well as new skill sets. So.
I agree. Um, what do you see as, in your experience, I know you have a lot of experience in the field, but what do you see as the future of wellness? Where are we going, and are we adapting to the new technology that we're using?
Right, right. Believe that it is still going to be the important factor in our day-to-day lives, knowing that you not only have the aspect of the physical for your overall health, but you also have to consider your nutrition. You also have to consider your spiritual, your emotional, your intellectual, which we are all doing. And in order to embrace that, we find ways to make that happen. We've learned a new way to exercise
Right.
virtually. We've learned a new way to shop. We learned a new way to view cultural events. I mean, how many of us really enjoy going to the theater or hearing the symphony or an opera or seeing an art gallery? You can do all of those things still within your privacy of your home or in a small group where it is still safe. So there are many possibilities to still enjoy those aspects of your life and thrive from day to day.
And I even think of, as far as even telemedicine, I think that
Yes.
we're utilizing things like telemedicine more frequently now than we did just last December, before
Yes.
everything hit. So,
Yeah,
and I think that has some real positive aspects as well.
absolutely right.
The ability to get into the doctor easily, the ability to, the cost
Right.
factor. So there are some positives to this technology, and
There are.
there.
It's convenience, you know, and that's another aspect you think about too. When you're living in a senior living community per se, many of them have all those amenities right within that community. Or if you're even living and aging in place, your broader community has all of your amenities. You just have to be resourceful on how to obtain them and do your research. But when you're in those communities, you have to think how that is a very safe environment for you. It's a very convenient environment for you. For example, your salon services, it's right there within a lot of those communities. That's a way to pamper yourself, but you know you're in a safe environment because they've followed all the protocols. Salons are under strict protocols right now, as well as many different other retail businesses and so forth. But so if you feel that you have that comfort level and you take all the precautions and do that research, then there are ways for you still to enjoy a day-to-day life.
I love that. I think that's a good takeaway, that the one of the positive things going on is we have had to adapt, and that can be a positive thing when it comes to brain health. But
Change
also,
is good. You
yeah,
know,
it can be really
we've always
good for
said
us.
that change is good.
Change can be really good. It can be good for our brain, it can be good for our bodies, and we're learning to keep our cognitive health kind of at the forefront, but also
Yes.
our mental health in maintaining those connections. And I think we're very fortunate to have the technology right now to be able to utilize this technology that we have. So I'm
Yes.
glad it's in place right now and that we can still have those bonds of friendship and community in a different way and maybe in a new way, but in a way that I think will continue on in wellness.
Absolutely. I mean, look at us today. We're sharing the message and the joy that there is goodness from what has taken place, and being able that there is support there, and that we have each other to network and to brainstorm. I mean, that has been one of my true things I've seen. The silver lining from the COVID is the networking and the brainstorming to work with colleagues virtually that I possibly couldn't have not had the opportunity because I would have been flying everywhere, and it's impossible to do at times. So
Right.
there is some good from all of this.
There is some good that we can hold on to. Well, thank you so much, Verna, for spending some time with me today. I hope that we get to speak again in the near future. But
Absolutely. Well, thank you
I
so much for having me. I've
thank
enjoyed
you
it.
so much.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.